Your greatest wounds are your greatest gifts, and those gifts are scars of wisdom. The desperate urge you may feel to fix yourself might be the very thing that's ruining your potential. Most of us spend our entire lives trying to hide our damage, buff our dents, and airbrush our history so the world only sees a polished, unblemished version of who we are. Like the billions of filtered and airbrushed photos on social media, you may find yourself treating your failures, your traumas, and your broken heart like shameful secrets that need to be buried. What if I told you that your life isn't a mistake that needs correcting? What if the most valuable parts of yourself aren't the perfections, but the jagged golden lines where you once fell apart? In our culture, we're obsessed with bouncing back to who we were before the crisis. But back is a dead end. You don't want to go back to a version of yourself that was fragile enough to break in the first place. I'm going to guess that you want to move forward as a masterpiece that incorporates the break into the design. If you're exhausted from trying to look perfect while your soul is in pieces, stay with me. Today we aren't talking about how to hide your scars. We're talking about how to turn them into gold. We're going to explore the profound philosophy and fringe psychological concept called Kintsugi, the ancient Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold-dusted lacquer. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to stop viewing your traumas as liabilities and start seeing them as the source of your unique power and texture. We're going to learn how to stop the cycle of self-loathing that comes with being damaged and instead gain the tools to fill your cracks with self-awareness and ancestral wisdom. We're moving beyond the woo-woo versions of healing and looking at the beautiful reality of becoming a golden masterpiece because of your history, not despite it. If you're struggling with a past trauma or a catastrophic career failure and you feel like your mistakes may have permanently diminished your value and you're trying to hide your damage from the world, then this video is for you. From my days with Alvin Ailey and the Pride Lands of the Lion King to my work at American Ballet Theater, I've spent over 40 years working with thousands of artists and high achievers who refuse to believe that a no, a rejection, a failure, or a wound had broken them forever. Though I've seen stars crumble because of a bad review and seen executives paralyzed by a public stumble, I've also seen artists turn their greatest wounds into their greatest gifts. I'm going to share a story about a moment when a deep wound cracked me wide open, and instead of rushing to hide it, I wore it proudly, with the breakage becoming the very foundation of my strength. Later, I'll give you 3 practical tools to perform a golden audit on your own life. Because walking with lions means understanding that your value isn't your flawlessness, it's what you do with your wounds. Welcome to Season 5 of Roar. In our last episode, we discussed the hedgehog's dilemma, the terrifying reality that intimacy often leads to being pricked and wounded. But once the quills have hit you and you're standing there bleeding, what do you do with the holes they left behind? This brings us to Kintsugi. In 15th century Japan, when a precious tea bowl broke, craftsmen didn't throw it away or try to glue it back together invisibly. Instead, they used a special lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or platinum. They chose to highlight the breakage. The repaired bowl was considered more beautiful and more valuable than the original because it now possessed a history and a unique landscape. In psychology, we can apply this to the shattered self. I've carried the trauma of systemic racism my entire life. Being told that I'm inferior or subhuman, being bullied for being a crybaby and for my sensitive nature. I spent decades with internalized oppression, trying to hide my blackness as if you could do that, or hide my softer side in a masculine world. Through all of that, I refused to believe the lies that I was inferior. Though parts of me felt broken and still feel a bit broken by having to survive that, I stopped trying to fix myself to fit into a white standard of beauty or a black standard of masculinity. It makes me so angry that I even tried to do that, but I did. Before I made that decision, I was in the broken pottery phase. But the gold, the Kintsugi gold, came when I realized that my greatest wounds are my greatest gifts. My damage, my pain, my wounds gave my performances as a dancer their depth of humanity. That public healing was an internal renovation. I was being carved by the cracks so that my life could unfold as it has and this series, Roar, could be born. These lessons are things I've lived, and they're reminders to myself that I am not broken. I am an essential part of the universe, exactly as I am, who I am, whatever I am. And I want that for you too. The psychology here is about wabi-sabi, finding beauty in the imperfect and the transient. When we experience trauma or loss, we shouldn't aim for restoration. We should aim for transformation. The scars tell a story of a battle you've won, that you've survived. You're a masterpiece precisely because you were broken and because you have the courage to stay in the game. Before we move into the tools to help you find your own gold, if this message resonates with you and you're looking at your scars a little differently, please hit that like and subscribe. We're building a tribe who celebrate their jagged edges. One planet, one tribe. The accidents of your life, the lost jobs, the love betrayals, the childhood wounds, are not the end of the show. They are the materials for the next production. At the end of these tools, I'm going to share how a single bad day is actually just a crack in a very large, beautiful vessel. How do we walk with the line of your past trauma using the Kintsugi mindset? How do you stop being the victim of your history and start being the craftsman of your future? Here are 3 tools to help you apply the art of the golden scar. Perform a breakage reflection. Name the cracks. Most people run from the memory of why they fell apart. Kintsugi requires to pick up the pieces and look at them. In your journal, write down the 3 most broken moments of your life. Don't sugarcoat them. Next each one, instead of writing, "I failed," write, "This is where I cracked open." For each moment, identify one scar of wisdom you gained. If you were fired, did you learn self-reliance? If you were bullied, did you learn empathy or fortitude? This is the raw material for your gold. Mix your own gold, self-awareness, and ancestral wisdom. The lacquer in Kintsugi is what holds the pieces together, but the gold is what makes it a treasure. Identify one core value from your ancestors, like the resilience of my great-great-grandmothers who were slaves. What have you inherited from the people who came before you, whether biological or family who raised you? For example, if you came from a family of immigrants, you know they survived, and they survived long enough for you to be born. Consciously apply that value to your current wound. Say, "I'm filling this crack of my job loss with my family's history of survival and ingenuity." You're no longer just fixed. You're enriched by the wisdom of those who came before you. Display the masterpiece, radical ownership. A Kintsugi bowl is meant to be used and seen, not hidden in a cupboard. Stop using minimizing language about your past. When someone asks about your history, don't edit out the hard parts. Use your story to help someone else who is currently breaking, who might need the lessons you've acquired. This whole video series is just that, lessons from my life challenges. When you share your golden scars, you give others permission to heal theirs. Your vulnerability becomes your authority. And I'm not saying sit there and drain them with your problems. Listen carefully to them and be in their service with your wisdom. I am grateful to my mentors who shared some of their deepest scars with me. Your history isn't something to be airbrushed. It's something to be celebrated. The very moments you thought were the end of your career or your life were actually the moments where you became more valuable. Mastering the golden scar mindset prepares you for the ultimate acceleration of your growth. In our next episode, we're going to explore bouncing forward, the truth about post-traumatic growth. We'll look at why the darkest lions don't just teach us, they actually upgrade our entire psychological operating system. Your life's jagged edges and cracks are part of the greatest piece of art you'll ever create. Don't try to be new. Be extraordinary because of everything you've survived. One planet, one tribe, one world, one love. I'll see you there.